What is up, everybody? It is a 9 a.m. Oh, had you turned it off? Here in Los Angeles. Maybe that's why I didn't go over.
Well, I just clicked it.
Okay, cool. And it's, there we go. Sweet. Gracias. I'm talking to Nick, the anchor baby over here. I have to speak Spanish to him. He's English is second language. Is that true? Are you English second language?
No, I don't know if that's fair to say, but it might be.
You spoke both English and Spanish
Right, but
as a kid.
the thing is, we only spoke Spanish at home. There was no English at home. That was like a straight, little unique thing.
So you learned English in school, or you learned English how?
Just in life,
Right.
school, everywhere else was English.
Okay, nice, nice. Oh, and so you witnessed your parents and your mother,
Yeah.
sisters speaking
Oh, yeah.
English.
That's right. Yeah.
Outside the home.
Exactly. So pretty
From
much
childhood.
outside the home with them.
Okay, interesting. It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. A minute later, whew, add a minute to all my timestamps. And we're having a fun loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show. I'll have to remember that clock is off. I'm tempted to have you take it down. Yeah, I'm tempted. Just because,
Take it down.
yeah, cam 3? Oops. No, hold on. Cam 3. No, that works. Cam 2. Cam 4. There we go. Nice, there's the anchor, baby. And we're having as you can tell, a loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. If you're hearing my voice and it's live, it's between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time here in Los Angeles. There was some stuff that I didn't cover yesterday that were kind of interesting to me that I had noted down, so I may cover them today. One of them was Virginia Giuffre. They say that she committed suicide, except they don't say that. They say she died by suicide. Terrible, huh? And do you believe it? I believe it. But I don't know. I just believe it because, I'm not one of those people who say Epstein didn't kill himself. I think he may have. I don't know. But, and I suspect that it may have nothing to do with what we're thinking. Because you guys are thinking, oh, she was illed K by say else a, not by herself, because she was a witness to the Epstein mess. She was a victim. She was not a victim. She was 16 when she was recruited, and she helped train other girls with whatever they did. I don't know what they did. I didn't read about it. I don't really care about that part of it. But she became on a mission to basically, we women are not going to let these men victimize us. Well, sure enough, she married somebody whom she claimed hit her. Who knows what the truth of that was? Speaking all out of turn to the media, which is against what the court was ordering because she was making these claims. And she didn't get to see her kids. Isn't that a switch? And so she had a whole lot of misery and hell that mostly, like with all of us, brought upon herself. And so it's an interesting story to me, because I had covered her before. I had covered how that gal talked. Virginia Roberts, I guess, was her maiden name, and Giuffre was her married name, and she was living overseas somewhere, like Australia or somewhere. Oof, what a mess. She became an activist. In other words, a miserable person. For the most part, those activists are miserable. Black Lives Matter activists, hanging hay themselves. Let me speak pig Latin for the ugly words, right? She suicide, committed suicide, whatever. That's a tortured pig Latin, because suicide say is too obvious a. But rest in peace to Virginia Roberts. According to the reports, she's gone. What a miserable life. And she can't blame it all on Jeffrey Epstein and that other gal with the name that sounds funny and nobody knows how to pronounce it exactly, I think. Whew. Terrible, huh? So that was shocking to me because I thought that she was just a normal miserable activist person, meaning one who would live a long life, you know? It just didn't occur to me that she would actually do that or that somebody would do her in, but I don't think anybody did her in. You know? Woo. But anyway, you guys can call in 1-888-775-3773. You could call it a miserable world people are living in of their own making. And you know, what kind of parent raises a runaway? I think she was a runaway. Shout out to the parents. Shout out. I wanted to run away, but I wasn't like get recruited by by people, by bad hombres and mujeres type of misery and miserable. Press 1 if you ever thought of running away. Press 2 if you never thought of running away. By the way, I was the baby of the family for a while. That's a miserable existence. Is it? I don't know. You're like the most spoiled one, and actually that kind of makes you more miserable, maybe. And then I had a little brother, and then he was called the first grandchild. And he, too, was miserable. It doesn't matter. Being spoiled and getting what you want, that doesn't actually give you what you want. It's terrible. Yesterday, I forgot to turn on this beautiful Hake symbol, the Hake report. Yeah, everybody, a lot of people in the chat pressing 1 because they thought of running away when they were kids. Press 3 if you actually did run away. I snuck away, but that wasn't because it was a permanent thing. I just wanted to, spend the night, hang out with my friend. We watched The Little Mermaid. I was 7, okay? 7's not that young. Little Mermaid was cute, by the way. A redhead, like me. Ariel. So, and 4 if you're here for chat. 3 if you actually ran away. I didn't actually run away. But, everybody you find a way to be miserable, or the misery finds you. But shout out to her children, her widower, because I guess she was separated from her husband or something. And 2 says, Mr. Pink, my dad was always cool for the most part. Hot Pockets always in the freezer. Wow, Hot Pockets kind of came around a little bit later in my life. I got to make my own. I didn't have to eat all the gross food. I was kind of spoiled in that way. I got to make my own peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a bowl of cereal, and sometimes what are those things when it's a tortilla and you fold it and then you microwave it? Because I don't know how to cook. Quesadilla. So let me just make sure that the audio is coming through and crank this volume. Oh, yeah. Nice. Shout out to the runaways and rest in peace to Virginia RIP Giuffre. Giuffre, right? She was a runaway, I believe, a towel girl at the Trump place, Mar-a-Lago. And 16, you're basically a young adult, right? Kind of. I know that you should, I get what you guys are saying, and I agree with you. Young people are not mature. I'm not even young anymore, and I'm still, room to grow, let's say. So I get what you guys are saying. I get you. Shout out. Oh, thank you. So let's have a fun show. I will read your super chats if you'd like to call in. Oh, yeah. Ooh, nice. I will I'll take your calls if you'd like to call in. I'll read your super chats if you'd like to send a super chat. It's a loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show, and whole lot of mess going on in the world, but, oh, man. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. No problem. No, nice. Anyway, guys, I got it. It's just a complicated business. Let's just get right on. Wow. With the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Isn't this a nice scenery? Piece of scenery. I like it. Look at that beautiful crow. Black crows, ravens are cool too. And raven is a cool name, but crows, I grew up with crows. You know, outside. They were outside, I was inside for the most part. But they're just an awesome look. And I had a 90-pound wuss Christian band t-shirt, so-called Christian, shout out, liberal. No, Christian anarchist. And shout out to Jeff Suffering. He's really anti-Trump right now, shout out. But it's a great look. I had a t-shirt that had a crow on it, and it said 90-pound wuss. And it was edgy to say wuss, because you could say wimp, but wuss? Oh my goodness. Don't say wuss, kids. Oh my gosh, I have to hear this. Let's hear this. Let me hear that. Go back a little bit. This was in January this year. Anyway. But I am wearing an adult shirt now. Aren't I? A pocket tee. Keep me away from old Artie Art. Too smart. He'll pretend like he's going to rip out my pocket. Nice. And you know what? What's funny too, what's a little bit odd for me is for BitChute. I am streaming on BitChute, and on my home page on BitChute, it is not showing. Not that I expect you or want you guys to go over to BitChute, but I do have one, and I shout out the people who sometimes comment on my videos over there. See if it pulls up. BitChute, bitchute.com/The Hake Report. And it'll pull up right here, I think, in this corner, and it'll probably turn on the audio, I think. Right? And, but if you click on this, oh no, it's not going to show that. Oh, what? Okay. Yeah. See it? It's pulling up the live show. Oh, now it's going to do an advertisement. Whatever. If we mosey on over to the hakereport.com, what's up, Ponto King? Nice to see you, man. Age of Inversion. Gerta. Nice to see you. Oh, did I set up this thing? I think I did. Yeah, over on the Hake Report. It's Tuesday, 29th of April, AD 2025. Don't remember if I mentioned that. CNN reports that Trump is going after the leakers and the leakees. Or not Trump, but the DOJ under Trump. You know, Obama was totally against the free press, right? Even though they were totally for him, the Obama administration. They were basically commies. The Biden, same thing. But during Trump, the Justice Department secretly pursued internal communications at several media outlets, or at least a few, and issued gag orders on the news organization's leadership and lawyers, So even the journalists didn't know their records were being confiscated. Merrick Garland under Biden, Merrick Garland, whom Obama wanted to be on the Supreme Court, not even a Christian, with a dark, dirty smoker voice and just dishonest, just makes you want to spit and shudder, revised the DOJ, Department of So-Called Justice, policy and prohibited investigators from obtaining reporters' files except under limited circumstances. But those people had the same DOJ, the same Biden DOJ went after Trump's people, Trump's supporters under January 6th and just violated them like crazy, violated the normal people, but protected the journalists who were protecting them. Sick, huh? Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi, oh Lord, a woman, shout out, has rescinded the Garland policy, which was widely considered a win for the protection of the free press, the Merrick Garland, so-called free press. You are the free press. And if you are censored by X or YouTube or Facebook or IG Instagram or wherever, some people are censored even by Gab and BitChute. Can you believe it? That's a out of control person that sometimes says something about you and not about the people censoring you, more so. But it's free press, phony idea. Meaning that you have the right to speak your mind, right? And tell the truth about what's really going on. Because the so-called free press, they're a bunch of angry liberals, delusional liberals who don't even see things clearly. They just repeat what the government says. They'll smear a January 6th-er with his own words because he was forced, in his mind, to take a plea deal to plead guilty to stuff he did not even do. Ridiculous. I went to a January 6th-er's pardon party, and he was freed to tell the truth about what happened because as part of his plea deal before he got pardoned, he was not allowed to say, oh, you know what, actually the government's lying about me. The government lied about him. The FBI, they raided his house. I had callers call in, people who set foot in the Capitol building. This guy didn't even set foot in the building. He was just documenting what happened. Ridiculous. The FBI, a bunch of lame-o liberals, and the mainstream media, a bunch of just repeating the stuff that they claim and hiding behind it because they know the truth. If they wanted to know the truth, they could look at the video. The video debunks everything that they're saying. Anyway, granted permission to federal investigators once again to pursue communications from journalists during government leak investigations. Nice, because government shouldn't be leaking, right? For the most part. Shout out to the, there's some famous leakers. There's leaking for Christ, or for the leaking for the truth, brother, and for the justice in the American way. And then there's leaking to hurt Trump. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing. A lot of them. Shout out. It's true. So, nice. I'm for it. I am, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to join in and pretend, Trump is attacking the free press. Please. Please. It's kind of like saying, Trump is attacking free speech at universities by defunding these liberal universities that never should have been funded in the first place. Well, he's not really defunding them. He's just freezing the funding. I cracked a little bit. I'm growing. Free press. Free press to enslave the people with your communism. Freedom to lie and cheat and steal and then accuse the normal people of doing what you do. Ridiculous. This was is a screenshot of the press release from 2022 under Merrick Garland. Which would you rather have, a man, Merrick Garland, as AG, or the female Attorney General, supposedly Christian, Pam Bondi? Kind of cute. But no, stop it. All these women. But good for her rescinding that. I'd rather have Matt Gaetz. I saw Matt Gaetz over the weekend, by the way. Didn't talk to him, but he's actually pretty tall. I should say pretty tall, and I should put under my head so that it looks like I'm still pretty tall, too. I'm above average height for people in America currently. We got a lot of short immigrants and anchor babies. Not that this American anchor baby is short. This American anchor baby is above average height, by the way. The one who's on a JLP network. We will not safeguarding classified, privileged, and other sensitive information in the government is essential to effective government and law enforcement, Pam Bondi wrote. This Justice Department will not tolerate unauthorized disclosures that undermine President Trump's policies, victimize government agencies, that's kind of a funny phrase, and cause harm to the American people. Say ICE is around and they expose where ICE is. Now, there are spies who don't even need to be inside of the government to try to expose, ICE is over here. Illegals, hide over here because the ICE is coming. What a mess. Nice. So happy for that. So, whatever. Oh yeah, and Canada. You love your self-destruction. I was going to say oppressors, but that too. Look at this gal. She's like, yeah, communism. And this is it's a good-looking guy, like a white man. Looks like he's mature, but don't be fooled. Looks like he's mature, but don't be fooled. That's a sucker. Canada strong. Anytime they put something like that, that means disaster has struck and exposed their weakness. LA strong, disaster struck and exposed our weakness. That we were ill-prepared for a crazy wildfire to invade and destroy many homes in neighborhoods that never should have been touched anywhere close with a wildfire. Look at these gals with their skinny fists. Hake's fist is bigger than her fist. And hers. Hake's basically got silverback fists compared to those gals. You guys see Anchor Baby or First Hour JLP with the super chats? Who would win between a silverback and 100 men? Look at this guy. How embarrassing. He's putting a We Are Canada strong. So the whole country's weak, is what they're telling us. This Mark Carney. We've heard from Canadian callers who talk about this guy doesn't even want to be there. He's a central banker, according to Commie Nonsense Network. Central banker. Let's see. Does it say? I think they called him a central banker at some point. Yeah, 60-year-old former central banker rode a wave of anti-Trump sentiment. You hate Trump so much. You're so delusional. Trump joking about, and I don't know if how joking he is, because Trump sometimes says stuff that's so shocking and I don't really take it seriously, and then he actually makes it happen. I'm like, wow, okay, nice, sweet. So who knows if Canada will one day become the 51st state, but it just makes me chuckle. But that doesn't make them chuckle because they're weak and insecure in their own countrydom. And I do mean, don't say this, kids, but I do mean dumb. And I sympathize with Canada because America voted in our self-destruction by way of Obama, allegedly, Biden, allegedly. And I say allegedly because I don't know. And Bill Clinton. Who's that guy who was known to be very weak? He's died now, right? Jimmy Carter. Rest in peace. Supposedly Christian, but a male Democrat into his 90s. He outlived his wife, though. I think I respect for that. So Canadian voters re-elected their Liberal Party on Monday. Poor Canada. Oh, Canada. Why are you so weak? Mess. Oh, Canada. Nice. And Gaza. Mess going on in Gaza. I mentioned this in the first hour of the JLP show at the end of the news, end of the hour news. 2 months after Israel's blockade of humanitarian aid, the World Food Program. I don't know how I feel about these do-gooders saving the people, bringing food to them. The UN agency delivered their final food stocks to charity kitchens throughout the besieged enclave Friday. Supplies expected only to last a few days. For weeks, Hot Meal Kitchen's been the only consistent source of food assistance, communist buzzword, for people in Gaza. So said the WFP World Food Program. Are they the ones that have Hamas people in them, or am I confusing them with somebody else? UNESCO? One of those UN things. I think it's the UN thing for Palestine. Something. They had supposed Hamas people in there. Hard to get away from those guys. Despite reaching just half the population with only 25% of daily food needs, they have provided a critical lifeline, stated their statement. All self-important, right? Israel cut off food, medicine, and aid on March 2nd, nearly 2 months ago, to pressure Hamas to accept a U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal. Hamas has refused to disarm and free the remaining hostages abducted during October 7th, 2023, during that attack. Wow. So that's been a while. A year, what is that? 2023, 2024, 2025. A year and a half, right? Something like that. They're smart. It's evil, I think, but it's smart in a way. Your only bargaining chip is those hostages. Because it's not like you're so tough that, or at least powerful, that you can withstand the might of the Israeli Defense Forces. What a mess, huh? Terrible. Terrible, terrible. I don't care about Trump's first 100 days. I don't care about FEMA. I don't care about, this is sort of interesting, somewhat. The Illinois car crash. You heard about this on the JLP show? A car crashed through an after-school program in southern Illinois Monday afternoon yesterday, killing at least 4, including children, injuring supposedly several others. The liberal media, I notice, and maybe conservatives, abuse that word several. Several means just a few now. It used to be a couple. It was like 2, okay? Literally, it just means 2. A few means 3, 4, 5, maybe more than a few, but just something that feels like a sparse amount. And then several is like 7, 8, 9, or sometimes more, but it just feels like, that feels like several. But no, they say few. According to police, vehicles struck several outside the Why Not, or YNOT. It looks like Why Not, but YNOT after-school camp in Chatham. I had mispronounced it. I mean, Chatham, but it's Chatham. Thank you, Englishman, or whoever corrected me in the live chat on JLP, Rumble, I believe. Drove through, oh no, it was D-Live. Shout out to the D-Live crew. Drove through the building, exited out the other side. Driver uninjured, taken to the hospital, evaluation. Cause of the crash under investigation. Don't know what it was. I heard from Anchor Baby that Anchor Baby is very baffled by this, or at least suspicious about it, because they will say, no, it wasn't an attack. I don't know. Our community lost a group of bright and innocent young people, their whole lives ahead of them. Parents said goodbye to their kids this morning, not knowing it would be for the last time. So said this evil guy, Illinois Governor JB Pritzker. Is he the fat one? Shout out. In a statement, nonprofit camp asked the public, please keep the families of Chatham, why not, and our staff in prayers. We could sure use them. Oh boy. Don't be asking for prayers now. This is also from JB Pritzker. This is why I was scoffing at JB. Never before in my life, a quote, have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. I doubt that. I doubt that. You're a male Democrat. You probably supported Black Lives Matter, JB Pritzker. But I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They must understand that we will fight their cruelty. Give me a break. That's called projection. You're cruel. A Democrat, that's cruel. With every megaphone and microphone that we have, we must castigate them upon the soapbox. Oh, Lord, sounds like a woman. Yap, yap, yap. Nag, nag, nag. Shout out. We love the women on the Hake Report here. We love the women off the Hake Report. And the righteous, godly love, brotherly love. We must castigate them on the soapbox, punish them at the ballot box. So he's calling on Democrats to end the culture of timidity. The culture of timidity, which is the Republican culture, not the Democrat culture. It's sort of white culture now, lately. The culture of timidity. I like that phrase. Isn't that a nice phrase? JB Pritzker. And, you know, Don Jr. or somebody was like, there were 2 attempts on my dad's life. Was that not enough for you? You asking for a third? Wait, Donald J. Trump Jr. And I will get to your calls. I see them. I see you. I will hear you. This is Don Jr., right? Yeah. I feel a kinship with Donald J. Trump Jr. He said what I said. He said what I said. Oh yeah, here it is. Are you trying to inspire or incite a third assassination attempt on my dad? 2 wasn't enough for you? And he's quote tweeting Edward Isaac hyphenated Dover saying Pritzker calls for mass protests and disruption. Republicans cannot know a moment of peace, he says. Swaying their portraits will one day be put in museums reserved for tyrants and traitors. Tyrants and traitors. That's you. That's the Democrats. And that's many Republicans. But that's the Democrats.
In my life, have I...
Yeah, here. Listen to this. Oh, Lord, with his squeaky voice. What is he? A disgrace. Is he Italian? A disgrace to Italians if he is Italian. That doesn't sound like an Italian name.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. But I am now.
All women. And males. Ooh. Blah, 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 blah.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must
What does that even do? Just you blabbering and talking.
castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
Wow, they stood for that. How empty and shallow are you? Phony. So, nice. Oh, man. So I'm going to retweet Don Jr. for you guys. The Hake Report on X is where I stream my show, and I sometimes will post other things. Nice. Nice. So, lame-o JB Pritzker. I have to clear his name. JB. I have to clear the name actually of the Italians. This is important. See, roughly, I used to look like that when I shaved and was less fit. Born in Palo Alto, California. Hey, great song. Early life, check. Son of Donald Pritzker, Sue Pritzker, born, I don't know how to pronounce N-E with an accent over it, with a second E after that, which means born Sandel. Is that French? A Jewish family of Ukrainian descent. Oh, terrible. Terrible, not that that's terrible. That's fine. So he's not a Christian. And he's not Italian, I guess. All right, so, he got a Juris Doctorate, so he's a lawyer/liar. 2 kids, just 2 children? All right. So that's that. This is that guy. Doesn't he look like he could pass for Italian? Sort of. Maybe not. I don't know my Italians. Beautiful Italians, my apologies. Beautiful Jewish and Ukrainians or Ukrainian Jewish people, my apologies. Beautiful JB. You need to get the inside as good looking as you are on the outside, because right now your inside is ugly. And out of the overflow of your ugly heart, as William the Seventh, or William number 7 stated, your ugly heart speaks and overflows out of your mouth. And it's phony too, by the way. Bunch of phonies and lamos. Anyway, so JB has been exposed. You're welcome. What have I covered? Let me just quickly review before we get back to the calls, not back to the calls. The Illinois crash. Yeah, that's right, because he's the governor of Illinois. That's the other reason I thought that it was, I thought that he was Italian, because wasn't the mob in Chicago? Isn't that where, like, that guy who's a great actor, he was a mob boss? He was in, like, Snatch, which is a movie. I don't know. But he was all kind of a showboat. He was not very effective, I gather, compared to quieter, lesser-known mob bosses. Oh, yeah, Gaza. Is Gaza the situation? Yeah. I just didn't spend too much time there. What a mess, huh? Let's get to some calls here, guys. 1-888-775-3773. Christine, a first-time caller in New Mexico, is on the line here. Christine, thank you for calling and holding. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, Hake. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
So, I was the caller on Jesse's show earlier.
Yeah.
And you asked a very wonderful, beautiful question, and I just want to thank you for that.
Cool.
So, I'm one of those people that, like I mentioned, I was working on myself in my 20s, and that's what I'm doing constantly. It's just something that I do that has helped me in life. And the one habit I have is if someone asks me a question I've never heard before, I just react with an I don't know. I'm like, that's something I need to look into.
Interesting.
And so when you asked, why do you get stalkers? And I was like, I don't know. I wrote it down. And I was like, I need to look on that and see, why do I get stalkers? Because like I mentioned on the show, it's been since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh my goodness, I've been programmed. So when I was very young, my parents did divorce. And I have more of my dad's nature. but I grew up with my mom. So she, programmed me to appeal to her nature. And she was stalking my dad.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah, and we would be in the car while she would do this. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Why is she doing that? He's living his life. We're living ours. We're fine. And this was, she had been stalking him for many years. Oh, my gosh, it was crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And so I realized, oh, my gosh, I naturally have my dad's nature. And she made me appeal to her. And I was like, I think the reason I get these stalkers is that I seem to have a personality that I developed that appeals to a lot of these people that have the same nature as my mom. And then to a certain point, I just break off the relationship, and it ignites a repetition of the same event over and over. And I'm guessing that was such a constant thing when I was young that I subconsciously keep creating that event in my life.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember hearing when somebody's a victim and somebody is a perpetrator, and when somebody is a repeat victim of a certain thing, there's got to be something that attracts that thing to them.
Mm-hmm. But it's okay. I never felt like a victim in what was happening. I was like an observer.
Yeah.
And so maybe I just made it where it's just something that happens in life. And that's why I've never been afraid of being stalked, because I saw it as it's just something that happens. I didn't realize that it's abnormal for that to be happening. I was like, well, there's just crazy people out there.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I get that you didn't respond in a way that, I'm a victim and I hate it. But there was a story that JLP told in the past that he used to get into car accidents and it wouldn't be his fault. And I don't know if he would sue them or if he would get money from them, right? And it was easy money. And you know what they say about money? Easy come, easy go. And he realized, you know what? I don't want to be getting into these car accidents. And so he stopped getting in car accidents, even though none of the car accidents were his fault. And it wasn't on purpose, at least not consciously. So, but he stopped getting into car accidents. He stopped, people stopped crashing into him or whatever. Because it's a dangerous thing. And even though it didn't bother him, he liked getting the money, but he would blow that money right away, I think.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Those cars were stalking JLP. At least if I could be totally butchering the story. Maybe I made it up. Maybe I just dreamed that he said something like that. Because I can't even remember.
It's interesting that you say that too.
But
no one's ever asked me that question about why do you get stalkers all the time? No one has asked me. People would always be like, oh my God, you should be scared. And I was like, but I'm not. I would tell them after the fact that it would happen. Yeah. And they're like, you need to be careful.
True.
I'm fine because nothing bad happened. Because when my my mom was stalking my dad, nothing bad ever happened. Right. And that's why I was never creating an outcome. I would be like, no. And then it stopped. I stopped getting stalked when I started confronting the stalkers. I would bring my light to the situation. Hey, what's going on? Why do you feel you need me in your life that you have to chase me? Yeah. Or why do you feel like you have to intimidate me? What's going on with you? Let's figure this out. And I stopped getting stalkers, but then it started again after I forgave my mom, and she started stalking me, and I'm like, oh, now I'm living my dad's situation.
You know, you said something on Jesse's show that caught my ear a little about you said you're just going to start to, you told them, your family, your mother, your family, that you're just going to live your life now. Is that what you said to them? You're not going to necessarily come around as much.
I told them I've been wanting to live an independent life for a while. Yeah. And that's my husband and I together are going to make that decision.
Nice. Now, what I think I disagree with, though, is telling them your intentions. I get expressing that you haven't felt free to live your own life. I get expressing that, but that's your fault, really. Even though it's your fault because you weren't free because you were resenting them and controlled by them. But it's your fault being controlled by them. But
that's true.
But telling them about it.
It was my choice.
like telling somebody your intentions takes all the power out of your intentions. I feel like,
because I'm saying basically, I feel like I'm not living a life.
Yeah, and when you tell them that you're going to do that, they're like, okay, we'll see about that, and so then they start to want to stalk you. It's like a challenge. You're issuing a challenge for them to start stalking you so that you can't live your own life. Whereas if you didn't say anything to them and just started living your own life, maybe they wouldn't be stalking you.
Oh,
just an idea. I don't know if it's true. I don't know your situation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. You're right. All stalkers are not the same. Some are literally harmless. They're just insecure, needy little devils, harmless little devils, if you will. Well, and especially if you keep them at arm's length.
I like that bridge of understanding. So I understand because I've kind of witnessed it with, like, in high school when I had guy friends that liked the girl. And they were just so afraid of these girls, but they would, like, be infatuated by this illusion of what they thought they were.
Yeah.
And then there were situations where I was friends with both the guy and the girl. And they would try asking me, like, hey, can you create a situation where her and I can meet, and I just want to date her. And I would tell them, like, hey, slow down, Casanova, you don't know this girl.
Right.
And they would give them letters, and then my friends that were girls would be like, hey, can you tell so-and-so to stop because they're scaring me.
Right.
And I would tell my guy friend, like, hey, you're actually scaring her because you're being a little too forceful in your ways.
Yeah.
And they would get so sad because they're like, oh, now she thinks I'm a bad guy. I'm like, no, you're thinking you're the bad guy. You just didn't, like, let it, like, be more casual. Like, the best advice was, like, just act like you don't care and then let her come up to you.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't see stalkers that bad, because I'm like, well, they're just, they lack confidence to just be natural in engagement with people.
That's exactly right for a lot of these people. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because women are so judgmental and scared. They'll assign craziness, which it is crazy, but they'll assign things that aren't true to the person, and they'll get way more creeped out than they need be,
Yeah.
And they'll start thinking this guy's gonna kill me or harm me or whatever, and it's like nothing like what she's thinking. But because he's being insecure and off, it's sending her deep into her head and imagination.
Yeah. So in the end, both the stalker and the person being stalked are both scared.
Yeah, right. They're both in their heads and lost and miserable.
Yeah. So I guess that's why I was never afraid, because, like, they're harmless, we'll see. Even when they were like, I'd be at work and they'd be stalking at me at work. I'm like, well, I'll just go tell my manager, like, hey,
there you go.
Staring at me like a creeper, and they're like, oh, okay, and they kick them out, and then they stop because they get a consequence. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, your question was, thank you, Hake. Like, I just wanted to thank you because that's so awesome. I'm like, hey, I can consider this more, and I'll consider what you said too about I thought by me expressing my intention, it was me standing in my power, but maybe I was displaying a weakness too.
Yeah. When you said that you got a lot of stalkers and it didn't bother you, it almost sounded like you were bragging.
No, I'm just not. I just don't have an emotional attachment to the situation. That's all.
And that's cool.
Yeah. So I saw it for what it was. At first I was too young to understand. I didn't even realize what was happening to me was stalking.
Right.
Until
especially with a kid.
Of mine that was a girl. Huh?
Especially if you were getting stalked as a kid, according to you.
Yeah,
a kid doesn't realize, a kid doesn't necessarily, and a lot of times grown adults don't realize what they're giving off and what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, I was a real small kid with colored eyes, and in my community that was rare, so we would have people come up and they'd be just like, ay, mira los ojos, ay, que chula. And I was like, who are you? Like, what are you saying? Because I didn't know Spanish at the time.
That's
so
funny.
I was like, what are they saying to me?
Right on. Well, great call, Christine. Yeah. Thank you for the call.
Well, thank you, Hake. I appreciate your advice. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
You as well. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. And Jeff in Louisiana on the line over here. Jeff, thank you for calling. How you doing?
Very good, man. It's funny when you read that JB Pritzker thing, and at the end it said sounds like a woman.
Yeah.
They made some other women. He's got a cousin that's a transgender, just as bad as he is.
Oh, really? You're saying, wait, you have a cousin or JB has a cousin?
JD Pritzker has a cousin called Giuffre Pritzker.
Oh, and it's not really born Jennifer. It's changed.
Oh, it's transgender.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I see it last night on show I was watching. It's just as bad as he is. It's nasty looking, too.
Oh, poor family. Different families have their different issues. That's another reason, because I've been watching a little bit of this mob show, and a lot of them are not fit. They're kind of fat. Well, there might be fit, but fat. Wow.
The guy you talking about was Al Pacino.
Oh, yeah, Al Pacino, exactly. Thanks, man. That's the mobster, the showboat.
But the real one from Chicago or from Illinois is Al Capone.
Oh, no, yeah, no. I was thinking I was thinking Al Capone, and I wasn't thinking Al Pacino. I was thinking about this actor who played in this TV show that Jesse's former producer, the Irishman, the Irish producer, Boardwalk Empire. But anyway, yeah. So Jennifer Pritzker. Wow, sure enough, a transgender. Wow, first and only openly transgender billionaire. I'll try to zoom into the text so you don't have to see. Born. Hey, they have this person's dead name on the Wikipedia for once. Wow, dead named. Do you want to see the picture, guys? Oh, you're right. I caught a glimpse of the picture. Oh, whoa. Yikes. Aw, poor guy. Poor gal. Guy means guy or gal, by the way. But poor confused soul.
Did you see where they had to move Karmelo Anthony?
No, I didn't.
Now, this is what kills you. They say he's getting threatened and all this crap.
Yep.
And they said there were some people driving by in a car with guns.
Okay.
It was some black and white teenagers driving by with a super soaker water gun for their friend.
Oh, so he wasn't getting threats. It was
They looking for their friends to shoot him with a water gun.
Wow.
And they didn't know they was at his house. They was hunting their friend.
Yeah.
But they called the cops and they had to move them for security reasons.
Right. So it was they moved him because of fellow blacks, basically, or black supporters.
Well, it was the black and white kids was driving out there hunting their friend, and they was going to shoot him with a water gun before he went home.
That's funny. He was shooting a water gun?
Well, the kids in the car had a water gun they was going to shoot their friend with.
Wow.
But they couldn't find him. They thought he lived at that house. And it's where Karmelo Anthony was at, so they called the cops. They was getting threatened.
The teenager accused of stabbing another teen to death at a track meet moved to an undisclosed location for safety reasons. Oh, yeah, because he's not in prison. He's in house arrest. Yeah. Okay. So, that's according to the network. Karmelo with a K, not with a C. Anthony accused of killing Austin Metcalf after the two got into a fight, supposedly. I don't know if that's how true that is. Earlier this month. Since then, the family. It's interesting how they reported that. Disturbing mail, people taking pictures outside their home. Yeah, when you get that international attention, that's not good. Or national attention. Wow, crazy, man.
Man, what do you think about Trump being the greatest troll of a president there is?
The greatest troll president?
Yeah.
I really appreciate Trump, as you know. I think of him as, I don't think of him as a troll, but I do kind of know what you mean. Yeah, go ahead.
When he put them yard posters out there on the White House driveway.
Right.
With the immigrants. CNBC done a segment, or MSNBC, where they blurred out those signs.
Oh, that's funny. Of course they would. They would blur out the faces of these people, these suspects.
Yeah, on the signs. And last night when they had that election in Canada, Trump wrote a big on True Social post about, you have the greatest economy. We can quadruple your production of this. You don't have taxes on this and all kinds of stuff. When you become the 51st state.
Nice. So yeah, I do appreciate that. These people are accused of crazy crimes, and so this is like the 150,000 people whom he's deported. So he's targeting the worst of the worst first. Alleged worst of the worst, obviously. Arrested. Okay, arrested, not necessarily deported. These people arrested. Because you don't necessarily just want to free them to live in some other country. And nice, he's trolling Canada. And, I feel he's Canada's best friend, and they elected their worst enemy instead, the Liberals.
Man, I just think it's hilarious that because even guy lost last night was responding to Trump on Truth Social saying, "Stay out of our elections."
Right. Lame-o Canada. They don't know what's good for them.
No, man, I just find hilarious he does crap like this. Like that poster thing is hilarious.
It is. It's both funny and it's true, That's because these are, as Trump rightly said, and completely accurately said, Mexico is not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. Way back in 2016, his first true statement, biggest true statement, and everybody overreacted it and lied in their imaginations. They thought he was saying all. Nowhere does it say or even imply all. Interesting, man. But they are. They commit crazy rapes at a disproportionate rate sometimes. Shout out.
Yeah, man. I like the thing I saw it thing with all the pictures. That was good. I mean,
yeah.
And you know what's going to happen when they have foreign leaders come over and see on signs. I mean, what's this for?
Right. He does so many truths. I scrolled down and it's like an hour ago in the world. Well, yeah, nice. Right on. Our greatest president. And
okay, man.
Nice. Go ahead.
I was going to bring a couple of things. I ain't going to hold you up.
It's good to hear from you, man.
There we go, man.
All right, you too. Take care. Look at him in front of Reagan here. Is that a good picture of Reagan? I don't know if that really looks like him. The Chiefs. He's holding a picture of the Chiefs. They want the Chiefs logo on their teams. Some I've never heard of this place. Massapequa, Long Island. Fighting to keep the Chiefs logo on their teams. Forcing them to change their name after all these years is ridiculous, and in actuality, an affront to our great Indian population, that is American Indian. I just so happen to see this. Not related, guys. And he's holding like a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt. It says Massapequa Chiefs. And it has Indian chiefs. And Indians are awesome. That's why we like them for mascots. Shout out American Indians. Or if you want to call yourselves Native Americans. But I'm Native American, which is to say I was born here in America to Americans. And so I'm Native American. Native means you were born here. I'm not exotic. I'm not an exotic species. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Look at that. Right on. I love the boomers partly for this reason. They have some common sense with regard to mascots. Right on. That's cool. Super cool, actually. You know who else is cool, though? Brian in New Orleans, Louisiana. What's up, Brian in New Orleans? It's nice to hear from you. I keep on. I thought all this time you've been you've been calling yourself Ryan, or you. I don't know. You don't necessarily speak clearly, man. You don't speak clearly.
I don't. I got a little bit of a speech impediment.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah. So we've been thinking that your name is Ryan, R-Y-A-N.
Brian from New Orleans.
But it's
Brian.
Brian, B-R-I-A-N.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Nice. Or is it Brian, B-R-Y-O-N?
It's B-R-I-A-N.
Okay, nice. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling. I always enjoy your conversation, actually.
I know. I had to call you back, though, because I seen that call earlier for JLP.
Right.
I don't know if you heard it, but I heard it, right?
I heard bits and pieces of it. I was in and out, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was trying to get him to see is that he's trying to, what he's trying to do is that he's trying to divide the races up. And I'm trying to say, I seen the video yesterday on the issue. And I'm coming to know there's only one race out here in America, and that is the human race.
Yeah, it's all right to say, I guess.
What do you mean it's all right? I mean, it's true.
But obviously there are in normal people's vernacular, there are different races, and blacks are a different race from whites, and whites a different race from Asians. And blacks hate the whites and Asians. Yeah.
All the people you just named, they are still human.
Of course, yeah. But I don't think of humanity as a race necessarily. You could call it a race, but there's also individual races within that race, and we're different on many on many physical and personality levels.
Right. That's what makes the country unique, right?
Well, I mean, you could say that, not necessarily in a good way.
What do you mean, not in a good way?
Because a lot of times personality is not good.
If they fault, then you can't blame the personality, though.
Well, by personality, I mean like if a black has an angry personality, that's demonic. That's not good for the country. Or if a white
what if a white has a demonic personality?
We do. And our personality is a little bit different. Ours,
so you can't necessarily say that.
I know, but that doesn't make it beautiful, does it?
It does.
No, demonic personalities don't make the...
Everybody got something different to bring to the table. That's what makes the country unique.
No, well, unique not in a good way, though, because
it is.
To having different demonic personalities, hating and fighting and being afraid and being suspicious and in our heads, that's not beautiful. It's not good.
Okay. But like I said, those are the people, if you walk into them, that's the kind of people you don't want to mess with.
Right.
Either if you're going to care about them or you don't.
Yep. I'm with you.
That's what I'm trying to say. Now,
don't be a stalker. Leave the girls alone. Leave the
back to the video I seen.
Guy, leave Hake alone, you stalkers. I wonder if I attract stalkers. I guess I'm just like.
Anyway, look, let me get to the video though. The video I seen though.
Okay.
There's a lady I seen on video on YouTube yesterday, and she taught on humanity. And she went out. She was against. Now she's against Trump, against what he's doing, but she teaches on social.
Okay.
She taught on humanity, and humanity is only one race, no matter how you look at it. But Trump is trying to divide up this race and that race, and it's no different. America always going to be a ghetto. We are part of it. We're a part of it, you and I, and everybody else. You know why I say that? Because we got people like the president in the White House.
Our greatest.
Messing it up.
Messing up the country, Trump?
Everybody.
Lord, Trump is part of the solution.
I can't tell you. You saw those ratings on the news?
Say again?
You saw the ratings on the news, the approval ratings?
The beautiful approval ratings don't mean anything.
That means a lot.
No, it doesn't. People's opinions are worth nothing. Don't you notice that were the people wrong to vote him in?
Yep.
Yep. Well, the people's opinion was they wanted him for president. Were they wrong?
Yep.
So then the people's opinion meant nothing because the people's opinion was wrong. You're admitting.
No, that wasn't wrong. That was just being stupid.
Right, exactly. So it was being stupid by opposing him. Shout out. We're all stupid. I agree.
And I mean, and guess what? And we about to pay
But
for it.
Trump is doing good for the country.
We about to pay for it, though.
But that's fine. We gotta pay. We gotta pay sometime. Pay now. Pay now a limited amount, or pay later dearly with the cost of our entire country.
We've been doing the same thing for years. What's the difference?
Huh?
We've been doing the same thing for years. What's the difference?
Because
and why it only took him to know
because, well, we've all known. If you listen closely to some of the people on the right or the independent people, or even some of the liberals, they know that we've been going off a cliff, that we're a house of cards ready to collapse. You know, we're way overinflated in our economy and these different things. And also we're unsustainable, not having enough babies, bringing in foreigners who don't have our values, and all being overly greedy and no values or no fairness, and letting other countries just take advantage of us. And it's not good for those countries, and it's not good for us. So he's bringing back independence to these other countries by making them pay their way a little bit more. And he's bringing back independence to us, allowing us to pay our way rather than leech off of the cheap labor of the foreigners and the cheap crap, sorry kids, from China and other countries. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I know that there's something off about all the cheap stuff coming from China, and everybody gets stuff that's made in China. That's not right, is it?
I don't know. It's been working over the years, so why stop now?
How well has it really been working? The stuff is just getting more and more expensive. Because why not now?
Let's say we do start over, right?
Yeah.
And we do get these we gotta start with America all over again. Mm-hmm. Now we gotta rebuild. That takes time and much more money to get it right here in the USA.
That's right. And it's
worth. We can't even pay for it.
Well, we're doing both. We're still getting stuff from overseas. It just costs a big chunk more, and we're slowly building up ourselves as well. We can do step by step. It's not like Trump is destroying everything and rebuilding it in his image like Obama did, like the communists did. He's just tightening our belt. We need to tighten our belt and get things right, which is right to do. You know how they had the Great Depression one time, 100 years ago, roughly? They had something called the Great Depression.
That was 100 years ago. But we saw our way out of that, and we made this thing called America. That was good.
But that happened. That happened because stuff was wrong, and I think. And so that type of thing can happen again if we don't
Pacific what stuff.
If we don't protect ourselves right. You know what I mean?
Pacific what stuff? Like what?
Fix what stuff? Fix like how we're dependent on China, for example, to like buy up our debt. And I don't know all this stuff. You and I, we're laymen. We don't pay that much attention, but you well know that there's something off about our economy, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
Well, Trump does know. He's been talking about it for decades. He's been talking about how China takes advantage of us for decades, and he commends them for it.
He's only been in office for like 4 years. We didn't know nothing about Trump until he announced his first presidency.
Oh, come on. We've known about Trump since the 80s or more.
Yeah, but he had his own business though.
Right, and he was doing pretty well with it. He was well liked, and he was able to present himself well, and to the point.
Trump, now look, Trump strikes me. Trump always will strike me as a businessman.
Right,
He can never be nothing else more.
Is that a bad thing?
Businessman. He's a businessman.
Oh, but you don't know what he is then. If he's nothing
He's
more
not a
than
politician.
what's wrong with? That's why I like him, because he's not a phony politician. All the politicians are a bunch of phony lamos.
He is not a politician at all.
Good.
He's not.
Yeah, he's better than a politician.
He's not thinking about us. He's not.
What? He doesn't have to think about us. He's doing what's right by us.
No, he's doing what's right for him. For him.
You're just making that's an assumption.
I'm not making that up. It's for him.
Well, who did you hear it from? If you didn't make it up,
I can tell it's only for him.
You can't tell. You don't even understand the economy and what's wrong with it.
Then nobody can't tell me that because the economy was going well for all these years.
No, it wasn't. It's just in your imagination. Yeah, I mean, you and I were doing okay. The dude F7X says Trump is as consistent in who he was and who he is today as is Jesse Lee. That's true. Trump has always been the same. He's always been for America, criticizing the lame-o, ridiculous politicians who are just so phony, and been a natural leader, and he's only gotten better with time, not bitter. And I respect him for it.
This is the first time we're going to disagree on that, but like I said, we're just going to disagree on that. I'm not mad, but
right.
I just don't agree with that.
I understand, because you're black.
No, that's like I said, here we go with this.
You're black and liberal. Aren't you kind of, are you liberal?
It don't matter. It don't matter.
I don't even think you're actually liberal. You're just
I'm a part of the human race.
Right, but
I'm a part of the human race. I'm not liberal or nothing. I just want what's right for everybody.
I know a lot of
not for one.
Right, a lot of you old timer, kind of old school, cool, black liberals say, "Oh, I'm a human being. I'm just for all people." But when it comes down to it, you fall into that lame-o, listen to the liberal media, black thinking that doesn't think clearly and see Trump for the honest man that he is.
You gotta say that. You gotta say that.
But I mean, that's how I think it.
That's natural thinking.
It's how you seem. Shout out.
I don't see it like that. I don't see no put color into it. So it's not about color.
I know, but you think just almost as bad as Tony when it comes to Trump. You're not as bad as Tony because Tony's just ridiculous. You're much more honest, I think, than Tony.
Tony?
Tony from California, ridiculous guy.
Oh, that's the one who called you earlier?
Yeah, he called in just before you on the JLP show.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. But he's like, hey, Jesse, why are these white people always killing their families? He's so phony. But you come in, you're like you were legitimate, serious, this is how you think. You don't necessarily know.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. But you have the wrong impression of Trump.
I like to keep it real.
Yeah. I bet you if you sat down with Trump, you would realize this guy's for real.
Oh, that would be the day.
That's what happened with Bill Maher. Bill Maher sat down with him. You know what? This guy's real. He's self-aware and all that. You familiar with Bill Maher? Jewish, atheist, liberal, somewhat independent thinking guy.
I hear so many names.
Yeah. He's short. He's sort of skinny, old-ish, and has his own talk show. JLP was on his show one time, decades back. But anyway, yeah, everybody who meets Trump, I mean, just watch him without any judgment and see what you think. See what but pause your jumping to conclusions about him.
I don't know.
You think of me as being you think of me as being honest?
You probably are, but he just don't strike me that way.
Say that again? Probably are, but what?
He just don't strike me that kind of way.
Say what's that? Say it one more time.
He just don't strike me that kind of way. That he this easy person and stuff. He just don't strike me that way.
Oh, Trump doesn't strike you that way.
No, he doesn't.
Well, that's fine, man.
I just think of him as being spoon-fed. You know, he been has a silver spoon in his mouth and refused to take it out.
No, man. He's always been a man of the people, even though he's a billionaire with a golden toilet, allegedly.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. He's like friendly with everybody, gets along with everybody, talks to everybody, listens to everybody, and he responds like an honest boomer. Are you a boomer or Gen X or Gen Y?
What do you mean Gen X? Born after 2000? Hell no, I ain't.
No, that's Gen Z. That's Alpha. That's Generation Alpha or Beta. No, I'm talking about are you in your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s?
I'm in my 50s.
50s?
Yeah.
5-0? 5-0s?
5-0.
Nice.
5-0.
Right on. Gen X. Generation X. Well, it's fun talking to you, man.
Oh, yeah, you as well. I had to call you back.
Sounds good. Brian in New
All
Orleans.
right, then, hey.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Mark in Los Angeles, California. What's up, man?
Well, a couple things. I just real quick want to say your last caller was probably the best excuse to never pass the Voting Rights Act. I mean, he's voting like we are. His vote cancels one of ours out.
Indeed.
That's a sad thing.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about trade, free trade, fair trade. I remember decades ago, maybe before you were born, when Reagan was president, he was actually one of the first to, under his administration, to start shipping the jobs out. As much as we're supposed to love Reagan,
right?
He is not like Trump.
Is that so?
Oh yeah, he was absolutely a free trader. He didn't believe in tariffs, and that's when car sales from Japan started overtaking our car industry.
Wow.
You know, GM and Ford, and they started laying off, closing plants. It's all because of outsourcing or free trade. Same thing.
Was that NAFTA or was Bill Clinton NAFTA?
Well, no, Bill Clinton's NAFTA, but while Reagan was president, he advocated for free trade. I'm not 100% against Reagan, but he's not even close to being as good as Trump. But what I was getting to is one of the arguments I remember back in those years, in the early 80s, for the so-called free trade, was because our workforce in America was too diverse, meaning, you know what that means, mixing of the races. Yeah. And we produced an inferior product to what the Japs can build. And that's why our car sales went down. And that's why the companies wanted to locate overseas, because they can get, for example, Japan is a one-race country, and they work better when it's one race as opposed to multiracial.
Right.
So that's something people don't remember or think about or want to talk about. But now that these jobs are coming, hopefully, under Trump, at least some of these jobs are going to be coming back because of the tariff threat. I'm just wondering if that problem is going to resurface. I want the jobs here.
Right.
But, first of all, can a lot of these Americans of any race pass a drug test? I've heard, I think it was Amazon wanted to open a company. Oh, by the way, before I forget to tell you, my cortisone level is fine.
Nice.
Behind me yesterday. That was a good call he made, by the way.
Okay.
But anyway, I think it was in Ohio. They wanted to open up a manufacturing shop there. Amazon did. They couldn't get enough people to pass the drug test to make it so they can hire enough people to work. So they didn't pick that location, and they went somewhere else. I don't know, to another state, maybe Pennsylvania or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So when and if these jobs come back, are Americans, going to be able to simply pass the drug test? That's one obstacle.
It's a good question.
And then the race mixing, that's going to come in, that's going to be there, is that going to create an inferior product? Just something to think about. I want the jobs here.
Yeah.
I'm an American first person.
Me too.
There's going to be problems there too. If you owned a company and you made cars, would you want the people that make your cars multiracial or of one race, like in Japan, for example? that was the dilemma that you don't have to answer that, but that was the dilemma that I think a lot of car manufacturers and other industries were facing in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And again, I support the jobs being here.
Right.
But, I could see why there might be a little fear in these CEOs and others who on the surface promote diversity, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But in reality, there's a lot of problems with that.
Very true. You bring up a good point that a lot of people are on drugs or marijuana or getting drunk all the time or needing to smoke a lot or whatever issue that they have. And people are spoiled now. They don't want to work. Gen Z and younger are ridiculous. Millennials were known by boomers to be spoiled, and now you hardly hear about that anymore because the millennials are the ones writing the articles. They don't even realize that they're spoiled. And you mentioned the other races. A lot of the other races don't have the same work ethic, and they claim that Mexicans work hard, but some of them just pretend they show up all the time, but they don't necessarily work hard. They don't actually work consistently or honestly. They oftentimes steal and lie. And I understand your issue with the diversity problem for sure.
Oh yeah, that's not a plus.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they'll tell you.
You know what else is wrong? It's not just the so-called workers. The government is in the way. It forces people to pay. It forces companies to pay minimum wage. It has all these evil regulations on how old they are, if they work a certain number of hours, they have to get benefits. There's all kinds of limitations on the freedom. Trump is releasing a lot of those regulations. He's cutting a lot of taxes and regulations, but hopefully it's enough to help.
Well, you remember when COVID hit and they were mandating workers get COVID vaccines, which I never got. I'll share that.
Nice.
And I never got COVID.
Right.
But anyway, that was not enforced by the government. That was enforced by private employers. But what the problem was...
And cities,
the government,
but yeah.
No, I was going to say the government never mandated anyone, except if they work for the government, to get the shot.
Yep.
But if you worked in a private industry, that was the company that you worked for that mandated you in most cases.
But that was on advice from the evil government. The evil government encouraged that for sure.
Right, for sure. And when the person, the worker wanted to refuse the shot, they would say, well, then we're going to fire you because it's government recommended.
Yeah.
So by proxy, you might say it was government mandated. Either do it or lose your job.
Exactly.
Although I got to say, there were some employers that didn't go along with that and allowed their unvaccinated workers to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
So my point is the government, but the corporations aren't heroes either. Even though I do believe in free enterprise, like you call them, commie capitalists.
Yep.
Okay, so they're, what are you going to do? I still say in the end, bring the jobs back, start the tariffs. Trump said the other day that the tariffs will make it so hopefully we won't have any income tax.
That would be awesome.
Tax, which it isn't really a tax.
Right.
But whatever you want to call it, the tariff will pay our taxes.
That'd be awesome.
So it's a win-win all the way around.
You
I don't know what that guy you were talking to, what was it? I couldn't understand him for one thing.
Yeah.
What was his gripe with Trump?
He thinks...
I couldn't figure it out.
He's basically saying that, the people are against Trump and, with these dumb polls. And Trump doesn't only cares about himself and business. He doesn't care about the people like politicians care about the people. He's basically being a sucker for, the mainstream media. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this guy votes. Doesn't that scare you?
Yeah, he's in his 50s and he votes. And he still thinks like that. It doesn't scare me. It shows me that, you're right. We're doomed as a country. And he's like one of the nice, well-meaning guys. Like you can have a good conversation with him, but you can't force people to see.
Well, yeah.
go
ahead.
You brought up these companies are imposing communism and vaccines that are questionable sometimes, perhaps, on the people. your own neighbors are your enemies. They are your own neighbors will turn you in. Your own family members will turn you in. You know, not you personally necessarily, hopefully, but in general in America, it's just like these communist and other dictator type countries where the people are so brainwashed and scared and angry. They're judging their neighbors.
Like a neighbor that knows that you're not vaccinated is going to call in and say, hey, this guy's not vaccinated, come and get him.
Yeah, or he's racist and that's against the law, even though it's not, or whatever. He was in January 6th, or they overhear anything, they will do anything they can to hurt you, thinking they're doing something right.
Well, you know, I just want to say two quick things. I'll let you go. One, in Cuba, it was people that snitched on their neighbors that kept the commies in power.
Yeah.
And most of those people were of the darker persuasion because they're, multiracial Cuba. So you know what I'm getting at there.
Yep.
And the other quick point is, don't you think it made sense to give literacy tests before voting? I mean, just look at some of your callers that have called in.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think this guy that you just talked to can pass a literacy test to vote?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Runaways or some of the others.
I know.
I mean, I think
unfortunately,
literacy tests would, help out.
It's true. It could help. It definitely could help. There's also there's masses and masses of so-called educated people who are worse even and less honest, honestly, than the illiterate, though. You know, like people like my former co-host, as you know, he's like one of the worst. Like he's a worse person, seemingly, snake-wise, than my prior caller just now. So.
Well, I would say indoctrinated would be his problem. Indoctrinated, where the other guy, the last guy, was just of the low IQ breed.
Yeah.
If the other guy, co-host, was half white, I thought he was.
I think so.
Remember.
Yep.
So maybe that's where that tiny bit of intelligence may come from. No compliment implied.
Right.
But to show that he may be able to pass the literacy test. But the problem is, either way, it's bad. You educate them, they turn calm. You don't, they just turn hateful.
Yeah. It's crazy,
and that doesn't speak for all. I mean, like William, he's a great guy. He seems good, but there's not enough Williams.
Right. Shout out. Yep, exactly. Thank you, Mark. Great call, man.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Andrew in Scotland is on the line over here. Andrew, long time no hear. Good to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hey. Can you hear me? Can
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Nice. What's up?
All right. How are you, James?
I'm doing fine. Thanks, man.
Right. What I want to talk to you about today is quite a delicate subject in Scotland, but we've already kind of talked about this before when I was talking about Tommy Robinson. But what I want to talk about today is the combination or the correlation, if you will, between Catholics and Islamic people, so Muslims.
Nice. Let's hear it. Sorry. I think we're on delay.
The Catholics have...
We're on a delay. Just go ahead and make your point, sir. Major delay.
Well, I'm just asking you, do you know how the Catholics have learned to live with Muslims?
How?
Yeah. They solved the problem.
Uh-oh. How'd they solve it? I don't know if I want to hear this. Is this something I'm going to have to disavow?
No, you're not going to have to disavow it. I know where you're thinking of going, but we're not going there. What they did was they talked to Muslims as people and try and keep the faith out of the situation when they talked to them. So I was speaking to a bishop last night and then a bishop director yesterday as well, and they both say the way that you discuss things in Muslims is basically keep religion out of the conversation.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I found it interesting. And the guy says, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I live in Birmingham, which is 80% Muslim in England. And he says, every time I have to interact with a Muslim, I just ask them, why are you a Muslim? And I let them tell me why they're a Muslim. And then after about 5 minutes, I shut them down and I tell them why I'm a Christian. And that's it. That's all I do. That's what the guy said.
So he just doesn't argue about the religion. He'll hear out the religion. He'll speak his mind, and then they won't argue about it. That's fair. It kind of reminds me of in bars and places, they say, don't talk religion and politics because that's what gets people heated, you know, and you don't want people heated and drunk because sometimes people are angry and violent. And I think that could definitely be a wise move.
Yeah, I agree, and I just wondered what you thought about that because I'm quite, when I try to argue with people, I'm quite aggressive. And this guy says, well, just drop your aggression and let them say why they're a Muslim and then tell them why you're a Christian. Simple as that. And then you don't have to, you know, say all the things that you don't like about the Islamic faith and stuff like that. You can just leave that aside.
Yeah, that sounds wise, especially for keeping the peace, because why do you want to get into conflict with somebody like that? You don't necessarily want to get into conflict with anybody. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And if there's one last thing that I might ask you about, because it surprised me this morning when I woke up. I know that you like music, and I like music too. And I woke up this morning and I thought, I'm just going to put some music on. I've done my silent prayer, put on some music, and I recognized that Eminem, Rihanna, that woman from Britain called Adele, and a woman from America called Billie something.
Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Yeah, that's the woman. They've all turned to Christ in the last 8 days.
Wow.
What's happening there? And they're all releasing songs about Christ.
It's a revival in the land. I don't know. I don't know if I trust it
either, but it's a bit weird because unfortunately, I've had to listen to Eminem's music through the years, and I've never liked it because I don't like rap music. But I've never heard him talk about Jesus before. I've never heard Rihanna talk about Jesus before. I've never heard Adele talk about Jesus before, and I've certainly never heard that Billie Eilish. She was having like anti-Christ symbols in her music, and now they've all turned to Christ in the last 2 weeks.
Huh. I had not heard this. Perhaps something to look into, man. I don't know if it's true. That's cool. If not, that's cool too, because, you know, doesn't necessarily affect you and me. So
no, of course not. But I'm just saying, like within the last 2 weeks, they've released. It looks like they've released an album, and it's a combination of loads of different artists that are all like worldwide. You know, like really important. Well, not important, but you know what I mean, like high level apparent musicians.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've all like made an album about coming back to Christ. And I'm like, where have you got this from? Because I've never heard any one of you talk about Christ before. And then all of a sudden, you just get everybody grouping together and pretending that they believe in Jesus.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I don't know. This is the first time hearing about it. I wonder if it's just an internet rumor or if it's real.
No, I'm telling you. I went on YouTube. I thought, why are they doing this there? Because there was even more other musicians. Like another guy's got tattoos over his face. And sure enough, like Justin Bieber's in there.
Right.
You've got like this group of musicians, and they've created an album, and they're all saying that they believe in Christ. And I'm like, where have you got this from?
Maybe they just want to make money off of us Christians.
Well, I'm not paying them, so they're not making money off of me.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of people who would be like, oh, he's Christian, let's get excited about him and go to his shows and buy his music, and who knows? I don't mean to be cynical, but
no, me neither.
Yeah.
I just find it strange that all of a sudden all these people have grouped together and they're talking about Christ and they're carrying the cross and they're doing videos where they're looking at the cross, and Eminem is literally saying no that he believes in Jesus Christ. He never believed in Jesus Christ up until now. So what's happened to him?
Well, I looked on
Something
the internet
obviously
just
happened.
when you mentioned him, and it said that he's always like worn crosses and things. So maybe he was sort of culturally Christian, and now they're returning to it to subvert it and say, "Oh, we're Christians against Trump," or who knows what. I don't know. But I wonder if
Well, why
Eminem
is
will repent of being anti-Trump now. You know?
well, me too, because he hates Donald Trump. And
Yeah.
on top of that,
Yep.
I've heard his lyrics all the way through the years, and he talks about, I hate my mom, I hate everybody, basically. And it's like, so are you going to stop that now?
Yeah.
Or what?
Get over that hate. He's overgrown. He's an overgrown adolescent, hateful person, and he has a daughter who's now a family gal. I think she's married and has a kid or something. But
Yeah,
nice.
he can't keep his daughter's wife. He can't keep talking about. He talks about his daughter all the time and all
Yeah.
the things he's done wrong. So, he's always talking about her. But the funniest thing about Eminem is there's a black woman. I know that Jessie Lee Peterson doesn't respect her, but I sort of respect her because I can't remember her name. But remember that woman who's on the Daily Wire and she got sacked.
Oh, okay.
She challenged Eminem to a fight, and Eminem says, "I'm not going to fight you." And it wasn't because Eminem was able to beat her up. It was actually because Candace Owens knew that she could actually beat him up, and he refused to fight her.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that one either.
That's the funniest thing that I know about Eminem. He refused to fight a black woman.
Well, thank you for the American pop culture news update all the way from Scotland, Andrew. Appreciate that. I actually find some of these people very interesting. So I appreciate hearing this rumor.
I can call you because if I call Jesse, right? If I call Jesse, every single argument.
You cut out. You cut out there. You went mute.
You, because we're of similar age, then
You're cutting in and out there, Andrew, in Scotland. Your signal is kind of gone bad. But
it's not my signal. It's not my signal. And thank you for your time, James.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take care. All right. Bye. Wow. Before I get back to the calls, I do have some super chats. Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with that rhino. Mildly offended, he stated back, when was this? I guess I was talking about Italians or fat people or something. Don't be mildly offended over there. But thank you, Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with the rhino. And let's see, over on, look, there's our greatest president. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, I saw one from, who was it? Cesar, 5 coffees, no message. Thank you, sir. This is still loading. Ego is Real asks, what is your opinion about Amazon listing tariff costs on its product pages? That's fair. That's fine. They got to do, I think that's cool. I honestly think that's cool. It might, Amazon recently, let me finish, because I hadn't heard about that actually, Ego is Real. You're telling me for the first time, and my impression is that that's kind of handy to know. It could be construed as potential anti-Trump propaganda, but I'm fine with it. Amazon recently partnered with Chinese advertising firm, so it's probably political propaganda and foreign interference, says Ego is Real. And that part, it's not right. That motivation is evil. But isn't it kind of nice to know, like, where the prices are coming from? I wish it were broken down even further. Maybe. Not necessarily. Too complicated. Just give me the bottom line, Anyway. Where's the oversight that amounts are accurate? Good question. Good question. Can you trust these liberals? Amazon, Jeff Bezos, could easily increase prices to make more profit, add the difference to the tariff amount, and pretend it's all Trump's fault. Good point. Ego is real. Nice. And Little Rock, man from Arkansas. You can't eat pizza every day and expect to be healthy. So claimed Joel Friday. I cracked up when I heard that yesterday. I didn't know the reference, but I had a feeling it was about you and your Little Caesars addiction. I do not have a Little Caesars addiction, although I still sometimes think about that pretzel pizza. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering right now. So my relationship with food is not great, but I don't eat Little Caesars that much. In fact, they closed down the one on Pico. They closed down the one on Fairfax and 3rd. I don't even know where to get Little Caesars around here anymore. They closed down that one in Arcadia that turned into a boba shop. Asians. Shout out. And I like boba, but I prefer Little Caesars to boba. I probably get boba more than Little Caesars. Don't need that. I'm not a kid. I think Brian is cool, but you have to wonder what's going on in Louisiana. Trump doesn't care about people, James. That's right. He loves them. He doesn't care about them. Caring is liberal. Love is conservative and manly and godly. Caring is of the devil. Since I only have 2 days left around here, you should tell me how you feel about me. You don't want to know, man. You don't want to know. I think you're a nice guy, but nice guys are dangerous guys. I said how I felt in that husband interview. Still want your thoughts. Also, you see, you just want attention. You want attention. But shout out. Also, what was it like when you got high? What? And what's your drink of choice? I'll buy you a drink one day. I like what Trayvon was going to have. Watermelon cocktail. Arizona watermelon cocktail with Skittles. Hold the Robitussin. No Robitussin from me. I've never leaned. I'll buy you a drink one day. What an ugly shirt today. What do you mean? I think it's a nice neutral color. I think it's a size medium, but it fits like a good fitting large. It's tasteful. It has a pocket, which I don't care, but it's I got it from Target. You should like it now. Pro-trans Target. I shake my head. Do you think JD is a good VP? I'm on the fence about him. I don't hate him. I saw some movie recently. Highly recommend. There's a particular moment reminded me of you, Mark, Hayden, William, Mr. Pink. It's eerie. Seriously, go see it. Tell me if you see what I mean. That's funny, man. You're tempting me. Tell Nick if he goes a month without missing a show, I'll donate $20. Laughing faces emoji. Wow. Funny. I tried to be pithy, but I only have 2 days left. One last question for today. What were your thoughts when that black lady stabbed MLK? I mean, I don't remember it, but I did hear about it, and MLK forgave her, right? Something like that? Something like that. Terrible. Bye, James. Throw that shirt away. This shirt is great. It's like one of my best shirts, and it's adult-like. It doesn't have a print. Nice. Thank you, sir. And sweet. Let me just double check. Thank you, MX Murderer, for the ice cream. Shout out to Age of Inversion. Goethe. What's up, Goethe? Nice to see you in my chat, man. Or woman. I'm pretty sure it's a man. Southern Skies. All of y'all. To quote Tupac. But it's time, past time, to get to Alex in California. I got to plow through these calls, guys. What's up, Alex? Thank you for calling.
Hey, if we're in a rush, I could wait till tomorrow because I think the timing might be a little off. I was hoping to get a response from a black caller.
Okay.
About, what would happen if all white people disappeared?
Okay. All right. Well, we can pose that question for
do you think there's time or?
Well, let's just present your question, and it can be for blacks to call in tomorrow.
Yeah, that works perfect. Okay. So I had a conversation with my friend. We've been seeing a lot of comments after this Karmelo Anthony thing, there's a large percentage of blacks that like want all white people dead. And we were just thinking about, okay, so what would happen if either we were all dead, or let's say like Trump and Elon put us in a big spaceship and sent us to a different planet to go colonize, and we left the blacks to run it all. What exactly do they think would happen? What I think would happen with the no snitching and the lawless culture, that things would start crumbling pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like you can hand them over Tesla, all the banks, all the passwords, everything they need. But with that no snitch culture and the lawlessness, I think they're going to start stealing. Violence is going to start. I just don't see them being able to sustain, at least in America, without white people.
I think you're right about that. It makes a lot of sense. It just makes sense. Look at South Africa. Look at the countries south of the border. They're not, with exceptions to the rule in Africa in general and in Central and South America, whatever. They're not well run, and even India is a mess in huge swaths of the place, and China too, and Asia. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Jesse simplifies it by saying, it would turn into a ghetto in 3 weeks.
Yep.
But
or 3 days.
If you start chipping away at it in like a real sense, it's not really funny, but it's kind of funny. Like you think of like all the chicken farms; those are just going to disappear. Then there's going to be no chicken. If you take away like everyone who runs the jewelry stores, they're going to be stealing all the jewelry and killing each other over that. You can give them Tesla, the keys and the passwords to everything. They're going to. It's just everything would crumble, and it's all because of that lawlessness and no snitch culture.
Yeah,
I'm just interested to see
what they think.
What a black would think if all whites disappeared, since that's what a huge portion of them want.
Yeah, I would love to hear from. Well, Tony wouldn't give an honest answer. It would be sort of amusing, maybe for a second, to hear his thoughts, but it would be interesting to hear some of my black liberal or black so-called conservative, but Joe.
Yeah, I don't mean to like control your show or anything, but it would be cool to.
It would be interesting to know what they think would happen, how they see reality. Interesting, man. I appreciate that.
All right, hey, come off to the beach with my pit bull.
Right on. Nice. Take care, Alex.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye. And you can trust Alex with a pit bull because he's a dog trainer and an alpha. Speaking of alphas, I got to get to Robert in Kansas on the line here. Robert, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, Hake. Good morning.
Morning.
I guess it still is for you.
Yep.
So I'm glad that you and Mark are getting on board with the Trump socialism. I really like that.
Nice.
Maybe you're realizing what capitalism is. I don't know. But,
I like Christian capitalism. I don't like commie capitalism so much.
That capitalism is Satanism. Hey,
okay.
There is no Christian capitalism. It's a love of money. So,
but isn't socialism sort of a love of money? Go ahead. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Well, when you have your jobs offshored, right, there's something called corporations, and they have something called a balance sheet, right, and they have owners, and they want all that balance to be on the owner side because they have the money. And so if they can offshore your jobs, that's capitalism. If you put a tariff on something and you bring the job back, that's called socialism.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
I'm glad that you guys are getting on board.
Nice.
And hey, you had a caller noticing. You've had several callers notice that you're getting fat and you're like a skinny fat.
Yeah.
Right, and that's good. That at least you know now, right? That you need to do something.
True. I need to get fit and eat right, sleep right, exercise righter, and all that.
You don't go to a gym. You don't belong to a gym.
The gyms belong to me. I don't belong to them.
I don't think you go to it.
I do not go to a gym. No, I prefer to get my exercise outdoors.
Can you afford a barbell?
Yeah. I mean, I have a gym. I just don't like to go to those gyms, except for the jacuzzi and shower. Well, mainly jacuzzi.
Try it. You should try something for 2 weeks. Hey, just 2 weeks, real
All
quick.
Right.
It's called a superset, and I don't know if you know about training like the opposite side of muscles, but let's say you just do your arms, just your biceps and your triceps, right? Because you have one on the body. You'll notice there's one muscle that brings like something towards you, and there's one muscle that pushes it away.
Yep.
So in the upper arm, the bicep would bring it towards you, the tricep would push your arm away. And so these are in training. I tried to be a trainer one time.
Yeah. Okay.
You have the opposite side of that strength. So you're pulling forward, pushing away. And what I want you to do, Hake, is train one set per muscle group in the morning if you can, and just go to failure. We're talking 15 to 25 reps, right? Like something kind of high volume. Like if you can get 25, maybe you make the weight heavier. But if you did one set of bicep, one set of tricep for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, I guarantee you would see amazing results before and after pictures.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for the suggestion, the advice.
And
I do appreciate your expertise.
Do you have time to talk about stalking, or no? You need to get to the next guy.
I actually need to close up shop for Joel Friday TV, actually.
Well, my key to stalking is that when I found out where Hake worked, right, I could follow him home then, right? And then I could follow him to the beach. So I knew which parts of the beach he went to.
Right.
So then I was able to, like, when he's filming all that flat Earth video out there, I'm filming Hake with mine. Right? He doesn't know this. But,
right.
But see, that's how you stalk. Is license plates. You get the car, the whatever on the car, and you follow them home, and then you follow them to their store, their beach, or whatever, like Hake. And that's how I stalk Hake. That's the key to stalking.
I appreciate that, man. It's great hearing from you. We'll talk again, I trust. Robert in Kansas.
All right.
Bye.
See you, man.
Boys and girls, this has been the Hake Report. I got to wrap up shop. I cannot get to Stephen in Maryland, who wanted to talk about Trump and the tariffs. I wanted to get to you, but I cannot do it, man. I'll catch you tomorrow, I hope. And the rest of the callers and your super chats, I don't need to disappear quite yet. I got to leave. Take care, guys. It is Bright Lights. John Parfit. Come out. 2014. Summer Fire. Bye. Nice. Isn't that fun? Dance music. Sort of. Electronic? So cool. I can't play the whole thing, guys. I gotta get out of here. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Peace in the Middle East. Or at least in your hearts. Maybe. Bye.
I swear I'd never love when all these dreams fell through. But I've been here many times